months ago.
Okay, I'm going live, just so you guys know. So whatever you say.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You can keep talking. This is casual. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, anyway, in conversation, it was that he probably it goes both ways, I guess you could say, or maybe he's just going one way. But might want to take a look into that. So
I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
I don't want to say she's not attractive, but she's not attractive.
What? Do you know her name?
I don't know, but just type in "wife of the Rock" and
I'm going to look. I'm going to look just now while we're up.
Yeah, tell me. I've been dying to know your opinion, John, on this one. So the chin is definitely a giveaway, I think, but I don't know.
Well, they all kind of.
The Rock.
Transgender. They like to be the transgenders at that level in society, don't they?
You can't get that much success without giving something up. I mean, I don't care who you are, how much talent you have. To get to that level, you've got to be participating some way,
Yeah, and with the name The Rock. So the Rock is just like exactly just like using stone. See, Sean knows. I don't even have to say anything anymore.
Yeah. Laura Hashan. Laura Hashan.
What's the last name?
Hashian. Hashian.
Hashian.
Lauren Hashian. Is that her? Wait a minute. I could see the big nose and the chin.
Hey, Rick. Any book recommendations?
Hashian.
Hey, so everyone, we're just having a casual chat, by the way. So anyone watching, if you guys got anything you want to say, we're just chatting. That's it. Just thought we'd chat with you guys. So.
Yeah, and Rosette, speaking of him, but you go to the grocery store and they have those tabloid magazines, and it's just like they're just lined up there. This parade of like Sean said, of trannies. You've got the guy we were talking about, the Bradley Cooper with the what's that Lady Gag, whatever her name is, her, and then you've got Blake Shelton with that Gwen Stefani thing.
Yeah,
and it's like wow, it's just like they're all, I don't know, it's very weird. So.
Yep. It's basically
it's getting out of hand now.
More tranny than not.
Yeah.
I think there are some normal ones in there, though.
Who are they? Please show me them.
Let's see. Please. Let me think. Okay, hey, you guys in the chat, post names of people who you think are not tranny in Hollywood. So not tranny.
Right. I think we'll be here for a couple of
Sean
hours.
wrong. Sean thinks they're 100%. So anyone, let me think. Okay, so Renee Zellweger, is she a tranny?
I don't know what she is.
I've not checked that out. Zellweger?
Yeah, she's the one in Bridget Jones' Diary.
Yeah, because she was married to Kenny Chesney, and everyone knows Kenny, is fruity, so.
Yeah, they pair those up, so that's part of it too. When you're like in the A-lister club, they tell you who you marry, and so just like they did Julia Roberts with what's that other country guy?
Lyle Lovitz.
Yeah. So they were together for a while, right? For just short, right? They only have to be with them for like a month or two for the publicity, right?
Yeah, and the other rare one was the who was Brad Pitt's Angelina Jolie when she was married to that what was it, Billy Bob Thornton. That was a strange one. Oh God, that was strange.
Yeah, and they carried around their little vials of blood. Yeah, because they're all vampires. We know that. Yeah. So Rick says Jews are not trannies. I don't know. There's a lot of Jews in Hollywood, Rick. So I would say they are, that there are a lot of them are. Okay, someone's saying, how about Roseanne Barr? Is she a tranny?
Well, she's Jewish, though, right?
I would say she's Jewish.
Yeah, because when she did that thing, when she did the national anthem, do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
I think she is Jewish, actually.
Yeah, and she did a thing where she spit on the ground, that she was something the Jews do to mock us, and she did it during the ceremony. So yeah.
Oh, that's really nice of her.
Yeah,
I'm sure she's Jewish. Sure she is.
So, okay, so see, there's one, because I don't think Roseanne's a dude.
No, I wouldn't. Maybe no.
Well, okay.
Both parents,
we got one.
Both her parents are Jewish. Roseanne
okay.
Barr, both parents kept their Jewish heritage secret from their neighbours and were partially involved in the church. This is Wikipedia. I mean, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh,
Hey, Rick, what about Michael Bay? You think Michael Bay's gay? I mean, tranny? Is that what you're asking, or are you asking? Michael Bay's a producer, isn't he?
Michael
Bay.
Yeah.
How about him, Michael Bay? Check him out. What do you think, Sean?
Oh, is that because he's got no side to his... right, he's got a big long face, mind you, hasn't he?
Oh, he's saying, is he Jew?
Oh, right. I was just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is there say anything there?
Can't see it in yet. Mike, oh, wait a minute.
I mean, not everyone's Jewish, but if they're not, they're Shabbos goy.
Bay, that's it. Michael Bay was raised Jewish.
There you go, Rick. So Jew confirmed.
Born in Los Angeles, raised by his adoptive parents, Harriet, a bookstore owner, child psychiatrist, and Jim, a certified public accountant. Bay was raised Jewish.
Hey, you know who else is Jewish? I went and I saw that movie Midsummer. Did anyone see that?
Oh, yeah. How did it go?
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so the producer, writer, whatever guy is his name's Ari Aster.
Yeah.
Okay.
So did you say Harry Aster?
No, Ari.
Ari. Okay. Yeah, A-R-I. And A-R-I is an anagram for air, right? And then Aster is a star, right?
He's Jewish.
Yeah, and who's the air star? I mean, who's the prince of the air?
Satan's the prince of the air.
Yeah, so the air star. So Ari Aster, his name is in homage to Lucifer, and he's definitely Jewish, and he's also very, very short. If you look at his picture, and you look at him next to people, so the star of the movie Midsummer is a gal. I don't know her name, but
he's a wee short guy.
He's short, and they're about the same height. No. So the dude, so her boyfriend, so the main character in Midsummer is named Danny. So I would say for Tribe of Dan, right? And you got they're going to go to Sweden, right? Sweden's actually Asher, right? But they're all the Scandinavians. Tribe of Dan is up there. So and then her boyfriend is named Christian.
Christ.
Yeah, and I could say some stuff about the movies, but it'd be a spoiler, so I don't know if people want to see the movie or not. But just imagine what a Jewish writer would do to a character named Christian, and you pretty much have it figured out anyway. What's going to happen, right? I won't spoil it, but
right, yeah, we can.
Does it ever bode well for the Christian?
Never.
Never.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So, what's funny too is in there. So they go on this trip, but before they go on the trip, they're sitting in one of the guys' apartments. Sitting around like a coffee table, talking. And there's only one book that you could see the title to. It's like right there in the middle, centered so that you can read it. Yeah. And it's a book on Nazis.
Oh right, yeah.
Because they're trying to associate the Swede, with the people they're going to go see with the Nazis, right? Mm-hmm. And then the celebration that they're going to in Sweden is a pagan celebration. So they're trying to associate Hitler, the Nazis, with paganism too, which we know isn't true. So it's just more propaganda, pushing.
Yeah, not to change the subject on that and go to Hitler, but do you guys get the History Channel and those where you're at? Is that on your cable provider? Do you watch History Channel?
Oh, I don't have cable.
I don't really watch TV, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I've got, you know, when my living room, I've got full cable out there, and I only watch maybe Discovery or History Channel, but I can't watch those anymore. It's every night on the History Channel. It's a Hitler fest. It's on one of their, you know, the History Channel, the Learning Channel. It's just nonstop, just bashing the Nazis and Hitler. It's just every night there's a new show on it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, just nonstop with that.
It is nonstop. It really is. It's either Hitler's gold or Hitler went here or his secret this and his plans. Oh, the big thing now was they've uncovered his plans to take over America. That was what he was trying to accomplish. No, I'm not kidding. They had the whole thing planned out. Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me? So
is this his final solution or something?
Yeah, that's funny.
That's what they call it, yeah.
Because he didn't have any plans to take over anything. You know,
exactly.
Ernst Zundel talked about that. They found zero evidence in his papers that he was planning on taking over anything. You know,
and it blows me away, the brainwashing, Rosette. I was listening to Zen Garcia's channel, and he had a lady on there. I think her name was Dr. Joy. Very nice lady. You know, she was covering some nice topics, and then she made a comment about Hitler, and she said, "Oh, wouldn't it have been terrible if Hitler had won? We'd all be blonde-haired and blue-eyed." And I thought, really, that would be horrible, wouldn't it? Yeah,
she said that would be awful.
Yeah, she not even realized that she has blonde hair and blue eyes, and you just made this comment. Like, how brainwashed are you? Yeah, that would be a terrible thing if you know.
Yeah, and why would that make everyone blonde hair and blue eyed?
Yeah, exactly.
Hitler didn't believe in miscegenation, right? So it's not going to make everybody. You know, he promoted everybody taking care of their own tribes and making their own tribes thrive. That's what he promoted. Yeah. You know, within their own tribes.
Yeah, just like his meeting with the Prime Minister of Japan. You know, he promoted, you know, what they did and their culture and everything. But it just blew me away. You can listen to someone, they sound so intelligent, then they just totally blow it.
Yeah.
It's like, God, you don't even realize what you're saying. You know, wow.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's like, you know, it's same thing with flat Earth. Like, before I woke up to flat Earth, I followed, you know, like I can't think of anyone in particular, but just other, you know, awake channels and stuff like that, right? And then when you learn about flat Earth, those ones that are promoting ball Earth stuff, then all of a sudden you're done. That's it.
Right.
I can't watch them anymore. You know, the people that we're full on promoting all the ball Earth bullshit, and it's all a lie, and then that's it. I just
you know? and the first person I think of is that Max Egan character. It doesn't matter if it's flat or round. That means absolutely. I want to choke him when I hear him say that.
Yeah.
I can't stand that guy. Ugh.
Yeah, he made such, you know, they're such well done movies, you know, and you think, how did he do that all by himself? And he's, you know, living like, you know, off the graces of other people, you know, everywhere he goes and stuff, you know, people are like giving him money, and that's how he gets around, you know, basically he's like really, really poor, but somehow he can make these really, I don't know, these really, because when he made those movies too, it was probably like 10 years ago too. I don't know. It just seems to me like he had someone helping him, you know?
Yeah. And what does he call his show? American Freedom Radio or something? And you're in Australia. Wait a minute. First of all, what? You know, so I don't know.
That's funny. Yeah. And his Crow House, you know, why would you call it Crow House?
Yeah.
And then his image was a person with like a transhumanist person, right? With the metal, the artwork, you know, on his skull and stuff like that, with the one eye symbol, right? One eye was covered up, only one eye showing.
Yeah, and you know, I was telling you, Rosette, about him. He's the one that's got his, I believe his voice is synthesized or something. It's just too, I don't want to say monotone, or something really creepy about his broadcast voice, like it's a production. And it's very, I don't know, somewhat, I guess, hypnotic or whatever. I think
he has a hypnotic voice.
Oh, yeah, just, ooh. And he comes off so convincing, you know, in his positions, that he wants to be everybody's friend. And like, what, you know,
And you look at his name, it's Max Egan or Eigen, but it's like Max I Gain.
Oh, no.
Like he's gaining maximum, from fooling all of us. I don't know.
I've actually never listened to any of his stuff, but I've just
Oh yeah, and then the big thing with him was we're all of the same race. We are all the same race. That's his other big one. Like nope. Sorry, not.
Yeah, he's a universalist. That's a really hard one for a lot of people to break. A lot of people can be very, very awake, but then they're still stuck in universalism. People need to understand that, with the New World Order, that everything's getting universalized in every aspect, and why would it be universalized in every aspect, but in the actual people,
Right.
Like the politics, all the wiping out all the countries, right? So there's just one country, one universal country, one, and one language they want, right? One religion, one just economic system, everything one, but not the people. Really?
Exactly.
I mean, people can't see that. And from a long time ago, everyone knows about the Georgia Guidestones, right? And the 500 million thing, that so people know that they're planning on eliminating most of the people on the planet, and the 500 million, that's going to be just them and their slaves,
Yeah.
Who do you think's behind that? The Guidestones.
It's them. It's supposedly it's Rosicrucian, right? Because it's R.C. Christian is the one that signed off for it.
I think Ted Turner's big time behind that one.
It's Rosette is the thing we not behind it too, the Skull and Bones, because it was put up on the third month, March the 22nd, wasn't it?
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
If you look at the stone on the ground, the erection stone, it's March 22.
Yeah, and I think it's on. Isn't it on the 33rd degree on the parallel there?
Yeah, it's in Georgia. I know that.
I'm not sure. I've never looked at.
I think it's on the 33rd degree. If anyone wants to look that up, it's been a long time since I looked at it.
The GG for 33 years.
I know that it goes through San Diego, the 33rd, and then going across the states. I think it hits where they put the Guidestones up. But
I think Ted Turner's behind that because Ted lives in Atlanta and he owns half of Georgia. I mean, he's one of the largest property owners. I think he's the largest private property owner in the U.S., but he owns most of Georgia. And I think that land was his. And, he's the one that came out the one time where he was replacing God's commandments, the 10 commandments, with his own 10 commandments. And, I just got a feeling he's behind that. So
yeah, he's probably a Rosicrucian.
Yeah, I think so.
Because they're above the Masons, right? They're a secret group, and then you have to be invited in, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So he's probably a Rosicrucian.
Horrible person. Ugh.
Yeah, and then he was married to Jane Fonda, right, for the longest time, and she's all part of the women's lib, crap, pushing the liberalism, right?
Yeah.
Her and Gloria Steinem are probably the two biggest, right? Pushing all that crap.
You know what she was famous for during the Vietnam War? Did you know the story of that?
Was she Hanoi?
Yeah, it was one of the prisoners had slipped her a note. Do you know the story? Yeah.
No, go ahead. What's the story?
Yeah, one of the prisoners had slipped her a note, so she could take back what was really going on, and she grabbed the note and handed it to the Viet Cong jailers, or the military people that were in control there. So basically, she just turned him right in, and I guess they killed him for it, the prisoner, or they tortured him to death or something. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so that's why the soldiers hate her so passionately for that little stunt she did.
Yeah, what an evil person.
Yeah, that's really bad.
Yeah, and I think she was an MK victim too, though, like person,
Yeah.
She's one that they have like different, programs for him, and she is one where they're doing something with her sexuality or whatever. There's something with her. I don't know exactly, but you know how she's like 80 or something now, and they still do. She does her little sexual poses still. She dressed like a cat,
Oh, really?
and was like bending over. I did something on it a while back. I can't remember exactly, but trying to be all sexual.
Who's this? Who's this? You're not talking about Jane Fonda here, still,
yeah,
are you?
Jane Fonda. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay.
There's something with her.
Yeah, there's something not right.
Yeah.
There's some poses. There's some poses here.
Yeah, you see her like bending over.
The finger over the old Masonic shush.
Yeah.
There's also some strange poses where, you know what they did back in the day, they done the bikini shots where they suck their belly in and snake to the side and things like that to try and. Yeah, I'm not. She's a bit suspect, definitely.
Oh, you think she might be a male to female?
Yeah, there's a lot of suspect in those old pictures.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I could be wrong. I see everyone as a tranny nowadays.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nowadays most are for sure. You know.
Well, it was rubbed off on me, Sean, because I'm doing the same thing now. You know, after watching your stuff. So.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Sorry about that.
I mean, some of them are so in your face, you know, so obvious. So, and I mean, people do need to be aware of that.
Yeah, they do.
Be aware of what they're doing to us, because they're you know, by doing that stuff, they're trying to make people gay, basically, because they're making you know, men attracted to men, you know, because they don't realize they're men, you know, and women attracted to women, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't even know what they're looking at on the television.
That's and is it true now that we've had I guess the Playboy magazine has had its first tranny? Is that correct now? That happened last year?
Yeah, it was on the cover of the German, I think it was a German Playboy magazine, the first.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, on the cover?
Yeah, the front cover, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's Playboy, right?
Yeah, yes. Playboy, yeah.
Okay, well, so do they show the person?
I think it tells us in the title, It tells us in the title, Playboy. They're probably all transgenders.
But do they show their parts then?
No.
Why not? If it's Playboy,
well, I don't think Playboy ever did. The women always did the little cross leg poses, you know, so they could tuck it pretty good if they. Yeah, I think they could do a tuck shot if they needed to. So.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't ever look at those, so I don't know what to.
And Playboy is always known for airbrushing, so they could, you know.
Oh, they could do anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, her name was Juliana Farfalla. By the looks of Farfalla. Wow. F-A-R-F-A. Farfalla. Oh, she's fallen, Angel, Farfalla. Yeah, she's
far fallen. Yeah.
She's far fallen. Yeah, it's always in the names.
Yep. Like Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, far fallen. The fallen one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All the curves, and they've just got they've just covered her breasts up, basically, or his breasts up. Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of those, I think they just do breast implants. Anyway. You
know, and here we go again. Just last night or 2 nights ago on the Discovery Channel, they have a show called Naked and Afraid, where the 2 participants go out in the woods for 21 days and they survive, just on nature. And I told my wife, just watch. You're going to see it soon. They're going to be paired up, 2 guys or 2 girls, and then the next week, they've got the tranny on there, and she was a tranny, now a male, and had the half beard and hairy chest, and was a former female. It was like. I couldn't turn it off. I couldn't watch it. It was like,
oh my gosh.
Yep.
And they had it on that Naked and Afraid.
Yeah, and they would show her its breast, but the female, she had, they would, cover, fuzz out her chest area, but on the shim, whatever it is, they showed its breast and it had hair on it. It was like, unbelievable,
Oh my gosh.
That's
sick.
That's why I won't be on the show, because that would be my luck. That would be my participant would be a tranny or something. I quit. I'm done.
Yeah, because you think how much farther can they go? How much more base? Because you got your LGBTQ Q.
Yeah.
And then, so they're going to do, you know, they're trying to normalize pedophilia. And then,
crossing with animals. We're crossing people with animals in years to come.
Yeah, they're crossing them with animals.
Yeah, crossbreeding humans with animals. Well, I'm just saying it off the top of my head. I wonder if it will go as far as that.
Well, I don't know if they could do that because.
No, I don't think they could, but they'll try.
Yeah, but I mean, what they will do is bestiality.
Yeah,
they'll make that, normalize that.
Yes.
You know, and then they'll probably show that on TV and stuff like that too. You know.
Well, bestiality was if you have any friends that served in the military in any of the operations in Afghanistan or some of those theaters in the Middle East over there, they'll tell you that the men that live over there, it's not an uncommon sight to catch one of them with their goats. So, yeah, they definitely do it. I know one guy who was a helicopter pilot said, you know, on one or more occasion, I would do flyovers and catch them out in their you know, gated pens and stuff, you know, in the act. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And that's something cool.
Rosette, I think Jackman and Bloodletter are trying to get in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Wait. Okay, let me find it. Okay, go ahead. Keep talking. I'll try and.
I just seen some stuff coming up on.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, okay. Oh, Eden's there.
I think I'm trying to come on it. So.
Yeah, so I guess that. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say what you're looking into at the moment.
What am I looking into at the moment? You know, Sean, I've been just very fascinated with the real history of America here. You know, with a lot going on with, you know, these the Tartary subject and these buildings that were here in America before the mud flood event. And I'm overwhelmed with it. I can't get enough of it and trying to figure out what happened here. Because, you know, we're just studying these old maps of America showing California as an island and there's these enormous buildings that were all over San Francisco and, you know, some of these cities that were just enormous castles and they've just all been gone. And then I forget what year it was in the 1800s when we had that massive fire that broke out in every major city on the same day. I mean, it's recorded history. Chicago, Detroit, California, New York, and these great fires that burned all these cities down on the same day. There's some event took place and there's a big cover up. And I think it's, I don't know what it is. It's just very, I'm very fascinated by it and trying to figure out what it is that they've been covering up. So that's what I've been looking into.
Oh, I like your style. So on this, all throughout America on the same day, just burning down all big important buildings.
Yes, in all the major cities. You know, I just saw it, and it was on mainstream TV just the other day. They were talking about this. They could never come to any conclusion of what caused this to happen. But, you know, like
I think we know. I think we know.
Yeah, we know. But you know, and the big thing was these buildings, you know, that were these giant, and all the buildings were decorated with these statues and depictions of angels in battle. So something, you know, I don't know if it was, you know, the fallen angels that built these structures and God wiped them out. That's kind of what I've been leaning towards. But there was another element to it, and that was all these buildings, and they've gone back. A couple guys from Russia have, I guess, reverse engineered it. And, you know, all these buildings had these spires on them and these towers with these domes and these balls that were full of mercury. And they were harnessing atmospheric energy. Very easy to do. And they had the ability to do this back in the, you know, early 1800s, recorded. And that technology was done away with big time. And
so like taking the electricity from the air.
Exactly. Yeah, the higher up you go, the more positive ions you get. It's very basic, you know, common knowledge, and they had the ability, well, you know, that to harness it. And you know, they went, they couldn't. They did, but it didn't produce enough electricity to do anything. Well, it lit the entire buildings up, and every building in the city. So it must have been pretty effective, you know. So yeah, that's what I've been fascinated with here recently.
Good.
What's your thoughts on all that?
Well, I think we do. Electricity is free, to be honest. I think they are harnessing it, and all the lines that run through it. I think we get it for free, but I could be wrong there. I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah, I think most of your major skyscrapers from New York, especially all the stuff built in Dubai, they're harnessing energy with those buildings. They're just not telling us. Yeah.
Yeah, with the spires and the masts on the top.
Yep.
I firmly believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree too, 100%.
Yep, and they're making us pay for it.
Taking all our money off us, and they're taking a lot of it.
Yeah, because someone did a study who owns all these big skyscrapers, and they're basically owned by 3 companies. Most everything that's over, 100 foot or whatever it is, 100 stories or whatever. But I think they know what they're doing, and that's where most of the energy is coming from, and then they're charging us for it. So.
Yeah, like the Twin Towers, one of the towers had one of those antennas to get the electricity out of the air on it, right? And and they were supposedly empty too, right? The towers.
Yes.
That's why when they fell, they didn't find any furniture and stuff like that.
I thought there was wasn't there gold too? They had big vaults in the bottom.
Yeah.
And they I think they took that all out actually before they fell down. But of course that 9/11, that wasn't the first attempt on taking the towers down. They had one happen in the later 80s. That happened. So it's not the first time those towers were targeted. I think there were a lot of special interests that
you may have just
went to take them down.
You may have hit something very big here. They stored that gold in the basement, and we know gold is a conductor of electricity. I wonder if they were storing the gold there as part of their mechanism for harnessing this stuff.
Yeah, good thought. Yes.
Yeah, because they moved that gold around. All from the Federal Reserve to the Bank of America buildings, they all moved that gold around underground. They admit they do it. So
Did they take the gold? So they took the gold out before the towers went down.
Yeah, because one of the semi trucks that the gold was loaded on got stuck underneath a low bridge. Did you hear that story? Yeah.
Yeah. So the gold was probably used for the conductor, like you're saying, for that tower. And since they knew they're going to take the tower down, they had to get the gold out.
Yeah. Wow.
To use it somewhere else.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely. And it was, we know it was completely planned and everything. The Larry Silverstein Pullet crap.
Not a Jew.
He just likes small hats, okay?
Yeah, so Larry Silverstone is not a Jew. Silver is not a Jew. But so that we know that's all 100%, staged and planned and everything.
I think it's crazy how you can have something so obvious like Building 7 going down and no one gives a shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, that's like so crazy. I mean, that's like, also, the Empire State Building fell down. Not sure how it happened, but don't worry about that one, Goy.
Yeah, and I guess there's a little story on the Building 6 is the real missing one too. What was going on in Building 6? I've heard some stuff on that as well. So
but that one's another plant story, a bullshit story.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, because that's what's her face?
Oh yes, that woman. Yeah.
Yeah, what's her name?
Dr. something another. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's her name? Come on, someone in the chat, tell us what's her name.
She had that theory of something.
Yeah, she's full of shit.
Yes.
I did a thing on it on 9/11, and I talked about her.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
What?
It was total.
Judy something.
Judy Woods. There we go. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, Judy Woods, the Jew, and she wore her lab coat to make her look like, she's. We have to defer to her, right? She's the smart one. Like the doctors put on their white coats, and she puts on her white coat. Right, to do all her bullshit. And then if you look at the cars and stuff like that, she kept saying they're like toasted cars and shit. And if you look at the cars, you could see they're like cars just pulled off of from a junkyard, that they weren't melted cars. You look at everything closely, and even like the reporters, they have the guy who's in purple and he's doing the Masonic hand signs when he's talking about it, just the whole thing, totally staged. The Judy Woods thing is a complete joke.
I bought
but
that.
I believed it.
So did I. Bought the book. I bought the book. Is it Where Did the Towers Go?
Yeah, and I believed it. I believed her at first.
I think I'll start my fire with that the next time.
Yeah, exactly. Start a fire with it.
I suppose it's good to keep it to show people that it's absolute garbage.
Yeah, because I went back. First I believed her, and then when I went back and looked at it, her presentation. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I was so duped. When you go back with actually an open mind, discerning, and you could just see she's just full of shit. The Tesla technology and all that shit. That took the towers down, bullshit. And also, what was the other one they talked about? Thermite, right? Taking
all that nonsense.
Yep.
And
so question: where are you with the airplanes? Planes or no planes? What's your thoughts?
No, there was never any planes. But
there's no planes.
It was all nonsense.
Yeah, that's just CGI. That's all bullshit.
I'm with you there. Yep.
Yeah.
There's
no way that a plane could go all the way through a building. Right. They had the plane like go through and come out, right? Didn't it? Mm-hmm. Like come pop out. It's like it would immediately at the very front would be done, right? Hitting the steel beams. They're just, it's just like a car. If a car hits another car, it's gonna like get all munched. It's not like a plane's like, I don't know, anything. It's just bullshit.
It's just a big Masonic ritual, wasn't it? Boaz and Yakin, the two towers getting pulled down. That's all it was, wasn't it?
What was it? Say it again.
It was just a Masonic ritual. The two towers of the Freemasons, Boaz and Yakin.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all it
was.
Ritual, ritual. The whole thing was just a ritual.
Yeah, it was just one big ritual. Yeah. And then they used it, for many different things, to go into Iraq, right? They wanted to go into Iraq.
Yeah.
And what's in their place next to the train stations? What's the building's called the Oculus, which means the eye, and it's a phoenix rising. Have you seen that?
Oh, I haven't.
Yeah, so below the Twin Towers, they've got a building that looks like a phoenix rising with the big wings, and it's called the Oculus. And they've also got that inverted black cube down there, haven't they?
Yeah, now they have the inverted one. Yeah.
So all their symbols are there. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think the thing that hit me the hardest with that was when they went back and showed the cover of, what was it, Time magazine or something, when David Rockefeller, they did the picture of him on the cover and his watch was pointed at 9/11.
Yeah.
It was like 30 years earlier. It's like, how long had they been planning this stuff out,
Yeah. And something with the 9/11 I just read recently, I can't remember exactly if is it Lenin's birthday or it's some communist, does anyone know in the chat? I think it's Lenin's birthday, something like that, and that's why they used 9/11 too.
And Revelation 9/11.
Well, they brainwashed you all before that, didn't they? Your emergency code's 9/11, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got the Porsche 9/11.
Yeah.
You've
what's the Revelation 9/11? What's that?
It's from the, it's from
Abaddon. Is it? Abaddon. Apollyon and Abaddon. Yep. Revelation 9/11.
Coming from the bottomless pit.
The bottomless pit. They roll over you from the bottomless pit.
Oh, yeah.
Apollyon and
it says, and they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit.
Yes.
Whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. That's right.
Yeah.
And if you look at the old pictures of Apollyon fighting Christian, it was the devil fighting the Christian guy. So
there you go. Yeah.
It's all there. A whole lot.
All right. Well, 9/11 decoded right there. Pretty much. Next.
The whole thing was, what was it? The plane where they made the big, the lady, she was called CC, whatever her name was. She was 33-year-old on the plane. There was 33 passengers.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Muhammad Atta, who flew into the towers, he was 33 years old. They had the picture of the fireman on TV with a helmet. His number was 6669. It was a whole.
And there was a bunch of 77 stuff in there.
Your face.
Flight. I don't know, was it Flight 77 or something? They had like 77 stuff in there also. I can't remember at the top of my head, but
it's almost a joke. They just sit around a table and just think all this stuff up. I mean, how many little things they can put in, and I don't know.
Well, see, that's why you can see they're so into their numbers and their numerology.
Todd, yes. you spoke about wrestling earlier on before we went live. So there was a wrestling team called Demolition, and there was a wrestling team called Twin Towers.
Yes.
And they always fought each other, and Demolition always won.
Yeah. And that was
Demolition always won.
They tell you this shit.
Oh, that's so funny.
And at the same time, you had Hogan and what's his name as the New World Order. I mean, it's just,
my God.
It's comical. It's really comical.
That's a joke.
Oh, that's funny.
And let me tell you, there's a lot of Masonic rituals that goes on in the wrestling world, big time. Yeah. I mean, it's a very dark organization, the WWE, where they are now. So,
and who was there was a band called Dream Theater. Did you ever see that?
I think so. Yes.
And they done an album and they released it on the same day the towers fell down, and it was called Live Scenes from New York. And it shows.
Really?
Look at their album cover called Dream Theater, Live Scenes from New York. It was released on the same day the towers fell down, and it's got a picture of an apple with barbed wire around it and the Twin Towers on fire.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That is so funny.
Yeah, but there's and like going back to the wrestling thing, there's a lot of Luciferian Masonic ritual stuff that goes on, and I don't want to say because I have a lot of friends that are in the wrestling world, but you hear the stuff that they do, and some of the homosexual ritual stuff is really, really creepy, and some of the wrestlers would participate, and some weren't. Some wouldn't go along with it. Their careers were cut short real quick, and it's pretty pervasive. And I guess the Vince McMahon, he likes you to perform a certain act for him that he enjoys, and it's just some thing about just power over his wrestlers. It's really creepy. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's a definite Satanist. He went into a church. They're like totally blaspheming Jesus and stuff. I can't remember exactly what, but I remember seeing something where he was in a church and he's saying,
"Oh, really?"
Yeah, I just can't remember at the top of my head. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, he's a very bad guy. But yeah, it's all of those. To go up the Masonic ladder, it's not just wearing a dress, you got to do, in all those secret societies, you do simple stuff, because the Jews are the sodomites,
Yes.
So they expect everyone to partake in sodomy, basically,
and
then you have the skull and bones and the, they have that ritual in the coffin, where they're naked, and basically get molested, So
it's something I do on my usual Friday nights, So. I had the guys over, and we get naked, and
Yeah.
I don't get it. I'm sorry.
No, me neither. Sick.
So Rick says, "What about Trotsky? 1911. What's 1911 with Trotsky? Was that his That's when he was
Leon Trotsky,
the Jew. Well, he's definitely a Jew.
Yeah, yes. His name's Lev Bronstein, is it not?
Yeah, Lev Bronstein. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, all the leaders of the Bolshevik Revolution were Jews, and they never gave up power. And we know. Charles says. He says, Charles Swang says it's Felix Dzurinsky's birthday, 9/11, 1877, KGB founder. Yeah, that's it. The KGB founder. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, so that's another thing why they like that date, because you know, we know that the Jews are the communists.
Mm-hmm. So what they say? Oh, was that the 1911 you were talking about there?
Well, he has Trotsky. Rick says Trotsky 1911. Let's see. What is he talking about? I'm trying to look up in the chat. Why'd you put 1911 with Trotsky, Rick? Let's see what he says. Let's see if he could just put why he said that. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think going back to the significance of 9/11, I think it is, you know, the revelation.
Oh,
9/11.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime
definitely.
you need an emergency, you're hitting 911. You know, you're summoning the you know, the prince from the bottomless pit or whatever. So.
Yeah. And that just shows that you know, they know that there's a God, because they reference the Bible for everything. They go through and pick out scripture and use it in their numerology. Why even bother if there wasn't?
Yeah, and they're used, you know, learning their use of the Strong's Concordance now. You know, they use that in everything. So, you know, you look up the numbers for the, you know, if it's 1265, you see it in the movie, look it up, and there'll be some significance in the Strong's Concordance to these numbers they use, and they're just obsessed with it. So,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, like their Skull and Bones, they use 322, and that's what is it? Is it Genesis 3:22?
Yeah.
That's the one, right?
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And they do, like, when they stick their tongue out, you know, they do the Kali, but that's the verse, the Bible verse where it talks about, you know, making a wide mouth, you know, sticking out your tongue. Whom are you? Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So everything they do,
those that wink with the eye or stick out the tongue,
yeah. So everything they do is, you know, biblical, is around the Bible.
Yeah, because Genesis 3:22, and the Lord God said, "Behold, the man has become as one of us, to know good and evil.
Yeah.
And now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever." Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's pretty significant.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's their plan. They want to live forever in this body, because, you know, in their bodies, because they know they're tares, you know.
Yeah.
So once they go, they're done. So.
They're just this endless coding and stuff. Did you hear the breakdown of the portrait of Barack Obama that's in the presidential library? The guy who did the portrait, I forget his name. It's he also did the artwork for We Are when he was running for president. Did you see the interview when he described how he drew that? Did you catch that?
No.
He said that God, I can't think of his name, but he said that when he did Obama's face, he put drops of semen on his forehead, and that's what you see on Obama's forehead is globs of semen. He admits this.
And, I remember seeing that. He was, I thought, wasn't he trolling him or something?
He said that, he goes, I was taking a swat at masculinity when I did this, and for some other reason, but so Obama's got jizz on his forehead in his presidential portrait. So.
It's true. I've seen that.
You saw that, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Well, because they wanted to go with a person of color painter, and this is who they got.
Oh, is that okay?
Yeah, that was the reasoning. They're like, who's a painter that, you know, we could get? And this was like the only guy.
I'd be pretty upset if someone drew a portrait of me. Hey, what's it on my forehead? What?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, he's a sodomite.
Right.
Obama. He's a sodomite, so he doesn't care. Anyway.
Who's this, Barack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a sodomite. So he's gay and he has a Jewish mother.
Even his name isn't Barack, means lightning.
Yeah,
and Bama, it comes from a high place, heaven, so lightning from heaven.
Yeah.
I tell you in his name.
Yeah, exactly. And it says that I saw Satan fall from heaven as lightning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So his name is in homage to Lucifer, just like the Ari Aster guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Ari Aster, we spoke about earlier, yeah. The air star.
Yes. Yeah.
So who else is in the chat with us just now here? Is it Eden and Jackman here? Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing? All right?
Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, all good.
My work week's over now, so
good.
The weekend.
Oh, your weekend starts on a Sunday?
Yeah, pretty much, because I work Saturdays, so yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you get Sunday, Monday off.
Yep, pretty much. I do work a little bit Monday though, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then Tuesday, Wednesdays.
Good. How's Eden? Eden good? Is he muted?
Yeah, I think he's muted right now. So.
Is he?
Yeah. Well, Sean, how are things in Scotland?
Well, the sun's actually shining at the moment.
Really?
Yeah. It's been shining for quite a bit of time. Wait till see if there's any chemtrails. my house is on a main chemtrail route. It's ridiculous. It's
it is?
I've seen 7 planes in the sky at one time, right over my house.
Really? It's the same for me down here, Sean. You know, being on the coast in Florida, they spray the chemtrails right over us because they go offshore. I don't know if they use that to pick up moisture or what they do, but I mean, they just lay it as it's so thick some days. They're endless. You can't count them. It's just highways of chemtrails up there. You get the fat ones, you get the ones with the pigtails, you get the, the ones that are real thin, the ones that form these huge clouds, and it's a show. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we've not got any just now, but no doubt they'll probably be out this week doing it again to us.
And for our weather down here in Florida, I've lived here my whole life, and I love the heat, but it is so ridiculously hot that you cannot go out in the sun. It just cooks your skin now, and I'm sure that's part of it. But it's really gotten bad. So,
talking about weather and things like, what's this? Was there some sort of huge fires in California after a earthquake or something? Is that going on at the moment? I see.
Oh, I heard something about that. I'm not sure.
Have you heard of that? Was it?
I mean, I don't watch the news unless someone tells me. So I haven't heard of it. But
there was a massive
they sure do love burning California. They always burn California. You know.
Yeah, there was.
I mean, there's natural fires, but they have way too many fires that I know they're not all natural. Because some fires are necessary, like in the forests and stuff. Because some trees
promote growth.
Yeah, some of the seeds are fire activated, like the redwood. So you need, you know that, Sean. So,
the sequoia,
so they need
promote growth.
Yeah, so fires aren't bad, but when they are unnatural, that's when they're bad. Which it seems like they do a lot of in California. They're definitely trying to ruin California.
Yeah, it's so sad.
Everything they can, droughts and fire. It's such a beautiful place. I lived in Northern California for years, and it's so beautiful up there, and they're just ruining it. I would never ever live in California again. Anyone that lives in California, get out get out while you can. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, those earthquakes are only going to get worse. They just had that record-breaking 7, and that's nothing compared to what's going to happen.
I think they're lining them up with something big.
I saw that that someone put that like clip from that one, but I didn't see any footage. Has anyone seen any footage on the earthquake in Florida, like any buildings damaged and stuff like that?
No, I've not seen anything yet. I just heard the quick.
Well, I'm just surprised they say that's like the biggest one since the big one, the quake they had in when was it? I forgot.
Yeah, I think the only thing I saw was they had a picture of someone posted on a social media thing of some grocery store with some cans on the floor. I mean, something
that's why
very simple. Yeah.
I'm like, what? Because I lived in California when they had the really big earthquake that made the bridge, the I-80 bridge over San Francisco. You know, the portion of it collapsed, and a ton of buildings in San Francisco and got destroyed. And I was up in Sacramento, and I felt it up in Sacramento, but there was a lot of damage, and this is supposed to be like the biggest one since then or something. I don't know. And it's like, what? I don't know. Has anyone seen any pictures? I don't watch the news, so that's why. I guess I should go look. There needs to be some proof. It can't just have like some stuff on a grocery shelf just falling down.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's not proof. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, people just here. I'm gonna go look. Let's see.
Yeah, speaking of that, Rosa, whatever happened with all your volcanic activity that was going on in Hawaii? Did that finally dissipate, or what?
I mean, we always have small tremors all the time.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like way more here than when I was in California.
Wow.
Yeah, see here, I'm looking at the pictures online of that last quake. They show a crack in the road. They show water in a swimming pool. They show one building on fire, but that could be totally set up. So I mean, what? I don't know. What the hell? It's not very much. I don't know what's up with that. It doesn't. We need some California people to tell us, to verify for us.
Yeah.
If that's even true. But yeah, we always have little tremors over here, but nothing big, like no buildings damaged or anything. But I can see us getting a big quake over here. There was one before I moved here, like 10 years ago, like right before we moved here, there was a decent sized quake, and it made the power go off on the whole island.
And how do you guys what do you guys use for power out there? Are there coal plants, or what do they use in Hawaii, I wonder?
For power?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, we have electric plant. I don't know.
Because you don't have any skyscrapers out there, and I don't think.
Yeah, have they not got a few in Honolulu?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess they do. Yeah. Yep.
Would they light up the whole island, Rosette?
Huh?
Have they got enough energy to light up the whole island?
They do, but
yeah, because I don't think you guys have coal-powered plants out there, and I don't think there's any nuclear. Wonder where you're
probably oil.
Oil, okay.
Maybe
probably have to be oil.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I never looked into it.
I know Iceland has. They're pretty cool because I think they get more than half of their energy from geothermal.
Right. Yeah.
That they harness. They're pretty high tech up there.
They are. I saw something on that. Yeah.
I mean, maybe we have some geothermal then, too.
Yeah, it's for like the bunkers.
I don't know. Yeah. Someone says some personal videos on YouTube, couple of roads broken. Yeah, that newspaper pictures for Cali and BC, Canada were the same.
All right.
I don't know. See, so it doesn't really... I don't know. Someone said there was an earthquake in Indonesia this morning.
Oh, okay.
I'll check that one out.
So we're live on YouTube. What's going on in the YouTube world these days? What are everybody's channels, and anything exciting going on, or?
All getting shut down.
Yeah. Since I got the boot, and now I just got my little backup channel here. I don't even look on YouTube at all. I don't watch anything, zero. So now when I want to watch a video, then I go to BitChute.
Yeah, I mentioned that, Rosette, because I went through my channel the other day, and then I don't post anything, but I had my favorites on there, and I took down probably 7 or 8 of my favorite channels because they were people I used to listen to, but they either come out with the Jesus never existed thing or something, and they start off really good, like I enjoy them, and the ones that I did enjoy, they're gone. So there's really not much I watch on YouTube anymore. So
I'm the same. I don't. Yeah. I just do my own kind of research through the news, through that. I don't really watch anybody anymore.
I mean, I'll go to YouTube to watch a video on how to, change oil in a car, something like that, or some mechanical thing, which is useful. But as far as anything else, there's really no one I can kind of go to. There's a couple of channels that are, covering, their Targaryen, the mud flood type stuff, or, that type stuff. But, I was telling someone the other day about the Boston bombing thing, trying to convince someone that was a hoax. I said, just go to YouTube. You can pull up the videos. Yeah, right. Go type in Boston bombing hoax and see what you get. It's like the first 30 videos are from ABC News or CBS.
I didn't hear how that one was a hoax. Wasn't that just that Muslim or that Syrian guy, that Muslim Syrian guy with the
with the brother
pressure cooker?
Did Joker?
His
name was Joker.
Yeah.
And they used Joker throughout the staged shootings. Yeah. All the different stage events. Sean and I covered that. They used Joker.
Really?
Yeah, they did that. Then it was Batman and Joker. And
the
Bataclan.
Bataclan in Paris. Exactly.
Yeah. But
going on.
We covered that, but they took them all down.
Yeah, and if I want to tell someone something about flat Earth or something, if you go to YouTube and pull them up, you can't anymore. I mean, if you pull up something on flat Earth, it is a joke. Your first 20 suggested videos. I mean, it's like, are you kidding me? Where did this one go? Where did that one go? And they're so steering people towards the most ridiculous stuff. It's just, it's almost become useless now as a means for getting the truth out. So.
Yeah, I think they just used that to divide the truth community. Let it out, and then pull it back.
I think they took us and they corralled us all up in a pen together, and just got rid of us, and
that's exactly what they did. And I think I pointed that out to use it last year or something, Rosette, wasn't it? Just Google flat Earth, and you'll see that there's nothing there anymore. Sorry, not YouTube flat Earth.
Yeah,
they took it all away some time ago.
Yeah, there were some really good videos on some, that were really well done by some people, and they're just gone. Yeah. So,
I mean, so BitChute is good, but the only problem with BitChute is you can't. It's really hard to search if you're like trying to find something in specific. You can't. They don't have a good search engine like YouTube does.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a hard time finding things. So that sucks. So like if I find a channel if you find a channel you like over there, don't forget to subscribe, because try and find that channel again. Good luck. You won't,
Mm-hmm.
like things that come up and you're in the recommended, like on BitChute and stuff. If you like it, subscribe, because otherwise, you can't find it. You can't just put in a name or a subject or something, in the search and it comes up.
I recommend people go to your actual website, Rosette, and look back at your old archives and work your way through them. You'll learn a lot more. You'll learn a lot more people from that than going on a YouTube channel nowadays.
Yeah, what I try to do too is on my website, how I had links to all the YouTube videos. So I went and I linked the ones that I have on BitChute. So if people want to go to the website, now they could watch the video on BitChute under each of the ones.
Plus, sometimes it's good just to read things rather than listen to someone talking. If you actually read it, that's what I like about your website. You just sit and read your way through them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because some things, when you're chatting, it'll something will be said. It'll go by too quick, and then you're like, "What was that?" You don't quite get, the gist of something. And then when you're reading it, then you can see exactly. Yeah, I agree.
You can go back again. Yeah, that's what I used to quite enjoy.
Yeah,
your older stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just plugging you there a bit, Rosette.
Your what?
I'm just plugging your work there for you.
That's why I had you on. I know, $50 later.
No,
yeah.
I still stand by it. I think it's all your stuff's amazing. The early stuff, it's really good, and people will learn a lot from it. The symbolism.
Stop it, Sean. Stop.
Have I done well? Was it?
Yeah, you did good. You did good. Go ahead. Keep going. No, but yeah, it's funny because all my videos are like, it's just my awakening experience, and then it's like my way of studying. So something I'm really interested in, and then I make a presentation on it, and that like helps me remember it, and then I share with people,
Yeah,
but it's funny. It's funny, the journey, because so many people, I've lost so many people along the way. Like they're totally cool with the flat earth stuff, but then I go into Christian identity and they're like, ho, 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 ho. Yeah. hold up, and then they hate me, so like whatever, but it is what it is, right?
I think at one point you lost everybody.
Yeah, I did. I pretty much did. And you guys, I was told that you guys are brainwashing me. Because I used to be good, but now that I'm into like Christian identity and stuff, you guys brainwash me. You guys are all a bunch of haters, and you brainwash me. Pretty funny. Like, yeah, whatever. We know who the brainwashed people are.
Yeah.
It's not us.
It's my family, my friends, everybody I know.
It's everybody else. It's everybody else in the world. Yep. We're the minority of the minority.
Yes.
Because the white people are the minority, and then we're the minority of the minority. We're teeny tiny.
The Gideon 300, was it?
Yeah, you think 300?
The Gideon 300.
Yeah, the Gideon 300.
Wow.
I hope it's more than 144,000 would be better, but
yeah.
But we might be 300.
Well, whatever it is, it's amazing that this thing happened where we were able to get in contact with each other, and then as the doors closed, that maybe it is just us, because wow. But I'm thankful that I was able to meet everyone, especially through Rosette's channel, because it's been a great thing to have the support from everyone who believes, I guess, that are like-minded, and that are our family, I guess, now. So yeah.
Yeah, I like our little bunch, and you guys out there in YouTube land that still come and hang out with us. I really appreciate it. That's why we're on, just having this chat today. Just so we could talk to you guys and reach out to everybody.
Yeah, and it's very lonely because you want to communicate with people and you want to share this with them, and it's just a block wall that you just can't get through, and it's like, wow,
Yep. And more and more they're clamping down on us, and we won't be able to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So then it's going to get really lonely, and it's going to happen. It's inevitable. Just like I knew my channel was going to be shut down, it was inevitable. And, eventually we're going to...
No, I don't, not your stuff. There was nothing controversial about you, Rosette. I mean...
Yeah. But, I hope I don't lose contact with you guys. That'll make me really sad, because you guys are my only friends, like in real... Seriously, like in real life, I just can't talk to people that aren't like fully awake,
Yeah,
I don't like the little chitty chat, about, what you had for lunch or or the weather, like the people at my work. I mean, the things they talk about. I just go do my own thing, at lunch. I like it. It's my me time.
Yeah. I'll give you one for example. I was in the gym a couple of days ago. I saw a guy I haven't seen, I don't know, maybe 10 years. His name is Tim. And I walked up and chatted with him a minute. And I forgot how we got in the conversation. He goes, yeah, but I'm awake. I went, you're awake? He goes, oh, yeah, I know what's going on. And I'm like, well, great. I can chat with you for a minute. He goes, yeah, and Trump is awesome. And, how about those Republicans? And, it just, I was like, and he thinks that he is completely awake. He goes, I have my own Facebook channel. And I was like, oh, We'll see you later. You know, and they really think, and he's a devout Christian guy, and he thinks he's awake. And it's amazing how far away they are from the truth. It's just, you know,
just 8 more years of Republicans, and everything's going to go back to how it used to be.
Yeah. Yep. Just doing the Hegelian.
If only it was that easy, right?
Yeah. But that's what they do. Give us a little bit of hope. Little bit of hope.
Mm-hmm.
Back and forth.
Well, and Republicans need to stop their cucking. You know, they've been cucking. It's been like that since the 60s. They've cucked on everything. They haven't conserved anything. I mean, pretty soon they're just going to be trying to conserve gay rights. I mean, that's what it's going to be.
Oh.
I mean, that's all that they're going to be doing. They're just so off.
Yeah,
they don't see what matters. They think that, you know, they can. It's okay if the whole world comes here as long as it's legally. You know, we just want to stop the illegals. You know.
He had a video on his phone. He was on the treadmill or the elliptical thing, and it was an inspirational video by Elon Musk. I said, "What are you looking at?" He goes, "Oh, Elon Musk, isn't he amazing? He is so brilliant." I just went, he can't spell his own name. He's basically retarded. You don't know this? And he's like, he invented Tesla motor cars, and he didn't invent anything. What is wrong with you, Timmy? And he was just like, "What?" I give up. I'm done. An inspirational video by Elon Musk.
Oh my gosh. I always think of him in the car in space, you know, that bullshit. And the people actually bought that.
That was a movie, wasn't it? It was a 1980s movie. What was it called?
It blows me away because where I live, we watch all the all the launches from the Cape. I just literally look out my office window right as I'm doing right now, and I can watch them go up right out here about 4 o'clock on the clock here. And we see them go up. And, you know, they got these SpaceX rockets going up and they're landing on a drone barge in the ocean where they land in reverse. Have you seen this? It's
ridiculous.
It's worse, it's worse than a cartoon. It's on a drone barge in the middle of the ocean. And they were showing this barge the other day, and there wasn't even a ripple in the water. It was just like on a lake. I went, so they're in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. That's amazing because, I mean, there wasn't, it was just like a lake. I went, that's the Atlantic Ocean, really? And, you know, guys, come on. I don't get it.
Yeah. Oh, God. That's funny.
What do you do? I don't know.
I know.
In 1952, Werner von Braun wrote a book called Project Mars.
Yes.
Which imagined that human colonists on Mars would be led by a person called Elon.
Oh my gosh.
And just like I was saying, how far they've been planning this stuff out, you know?
Yeah, see? So he was given that name and that role because he's the one promoting the project to Mars. Yeah, Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. Him and who's the astronaut that is helping with it? What's his name? You know,
Buzz.
Don Pettit or something?
No.
Not Buzz.
No. Dagnabbit. I can't think of his name. Who's the famous? Is it not Buzz Aldrin? Who's the other one? There's another one.
Neil Armstrong.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. Okay, I'll have to just look it up. Let me see if I can find him. I'm having a brain fart. Okay, you guys could talk in the meantime.
Yeah.
I think it is Buzz Aldrin. Yes, it's Buzz Aldrin. Yes, he's the one. Buzz Aldrin. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you see his video? Was it ODD that put it up?
Yes.
When Buzz Aldrin actually told the truth that they never went to the moon, and then it took off. Like a day later, that got banned all over YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that? I'm sure I downloaded it.
Yeah, he was in a little girl asked him why they don't go back to the moon.
Oh, okay. I think I remember that. Yeah.
So, because we never went to the moon.
Yeah, he knows. We know that he never went. You can't go to the moon. It's not solid. You know, there's nothing. It's a light in the sky, right? It says in the Bible. There's nothing there.
And speaking of another big hoax, that Felix Baumgartner skydived from space thing, they were showing that the other day, And I went, oh, God, come on, really?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
He was free falling at 900 miles an hour, and it's, oh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It was,
all fake.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got that video. It's called WTF, What If Buzz Aldrin told the truth about the moon landing.
Yeah.
And the rest of the astronauts got to be saying to themselves, oh shit, here he goes again. Someone shut him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, he's got to be on the list of let's just get rid of him now, before he gets any worse.
Yeah, they might.
Yeah.
I'm
sure he got some warnings. So.
Yeah. Too funny. So anybody in the chat, you got anything you want us to talk about? Spiritual Vapor, what's up?
Hey, hello.
He's over there in the chat. Or Eden, you want to say anything? You're with us. You want to say hi? Say anything?
I saw a note from Eden says he can't get his microphone to work.
Oh, he can't get his mic to work?
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
But he did put a note that Hawaii gets most of his electricity from oil-powered plants. Okay.
Oil-powered?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It costs 3 times as much as the national average for you guys out there. So.
Oh, yeah. Everything's so expensive out here, and they put in. I forgot. That's right. They put in windmills too. That supposedly to help save on the power, right? But yeah, it doesn't. I knew it wouldn't. And then they put it in pristine Waimea Valley, like one of the most beautiful spots on the island, instead of putting it on the windward side where it's windy. They put it in Waimea Valley.
The valley, yeah.
Yeah, but they could do other ways to generate it. Like they could do some kind of wave technology with the water. Mm-hmm. Solar, hello,
they'll put those in the valley as well.
Yeah. But there's ways, obviously, we could get energy or electricity either really cheap or free, but they don't let us. Like to put solar on our houses, they only let a certain percentage do that. You have to get special permission and all that bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, solar's expensive too. It's about like 40,000 to put like a good unit on.
Yeah, I tell you, there's a guy who's making a portable solar thing. It's on a small trailer, and he's putting these panels on there that are able to articulate, and aim towards the sun as it comes across the sky. And it's all self-contained with backup batteries in it, and it has just one plug that just goes into your house, and you can basically just park this in your backyard. They can't regulate it because it's not affixed to your home. So I guess he's going to have these things available here real soon. So when he does, I'm going to buy one from him, because you just basically can park it in your backyard. It's on a trailer, and it can produce all the electricity your house needs.
Oh, you know what they're going to do? They'll either buy them out, they'll for it, or
he'll disappear. Yeah.
Yeah, because they won't let that. They won't anything where we're free. They can free us up.
And I'll tell you too, the other big one's the guy who invented the solar paint. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I heard about the solar paint.
He painted a building with it and basically lit the whole neighborhood or produced enough electricity to power his whole block. And then the really cool one was a guy who invented, and his company's still up, but he's doing roadways made out of glass instead of asphalt. And you build the road out of glass pavers, and they never wear out. You can put all kinds of textures on them. But he's got photocells in the pavers, and they're producing electricity. And this is really one that hard to say it doesn't work, because it really works well. And there are people now that are actually putting these pavers on their driveways and producing a lot of electricity with them. So,
wow,
yeah, pretty cool idea, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it should be free.
Yeah, and get this, in those pavers, he's got LED lights. So on the highway systems, they are illuminated at night.
Wow.
All powered by the sun. Yeah.
Yeah. So if Hitler won, we'd have all that.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
We would, because he would, the brightest and the best would, be ahead of each industry, and that, and that would be for the people, right? Everything.
Yeah, but Rosette, everyone would have blonde hair and blue eyes, and
oh yeah.
Oh no, speaking German, we wouldn't want that.
That would just be atrocious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we would all have no mortgages, wouldn't we? Because Hitler, when you first built your house, you had a 10-year mortgage, and when you had one kid, they took 25% off your mortgage.
Yeah.
And so when you had your second kid, they took 50%. And so if you had 4 kids, your mortgage is wiped.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they knew you would fill your house with many kind of other goods and things and buy them from the country. So yeah, that was one of the things he did.
Yeah.
When you look into the stuff he did.
And he took the women out of the workforce, and because their role should be in the home, and raising the children, and so there's plenty of jobs because it's just the men doing the jobs,
Right. So was there a model that he had? Did they call it something? His economic model, or
it's just well, I mean, so National Socialism is part of that, but the other part of it is also what I call, and other people have recognized and called, national capitalism, where you still have a nice free market where people compete and can make a decent amount of money. However, the end goal of the capitalism, instead of the end goal being profit, that's the second end goal. Or I'd say if there was a top 2 goals, right now, like in the United States, the first one is for profit, right? But that's it. Profit at any cost. But under national capitalism, you would also have the end, your products that you're selling, etc., have to be beneficial, and how your corporate policy has to be beneficial. So all of this multiculturalism, diversity, importing the third world for cheap labor, none of that shit would fly.
Oh. No, is that what they call the Austrian plan, or is that something different?
Austrian economics is the Christian. I say it's more of the Christian silver and gold sort of currency. So you have it. And the point of having that is because if you have a currency based off of precious metals, well, the government can't just print infinite amounts of gold to go start a war, right? They have to collect it from Congress and the taxpayers, and the banking system can't just print unlimited money for the government to use however they want. That's why Nixon in 1971 kicked us off of the gold standard completely. And why we've had this fiat money system. It gives the government a heck of a lot of power, because now they can just, they can do pretty much anything they want with money.
But, a fiat money system isn't bad if you have the right person in power, like Hitler, because the gold standard isn't really a good standard to be on, because we know who all the gold hoarders are.
Yes.
So it
keeps so going back to it would be very hard.
Yeah, because they have all the gold.
But that's their plan. See, they know the system's going to collapse. That's why JP Morgan is buying all the silver and suppressing the silver market with paper shorting. And they do the same thing with gold. Meanwhile, all the central banks of all the governments are hoarding gold because they know that gold is real money. And they know that, it's going to keep its value over time, while the dollar just inflates. And that's especially true since we have so many a lot of countries nowadays have realized that the dollar has been used to just kind of screw over their economies. For example, we give South Korea $2,000, we get a shipment of nice plasma TVs or whatever. They just get worthless paper. Right. And then, they can spend it on stuff, but so we've been exporting our inflation for years and years and years doing that. And that's why we've had the petrodollar in place. So you could only buy oil through dollars. So every country had to have a stockpile of dollars. It artificially inflated the value of the dollar. and we've been able to have all of this rampant consumerism because of that.
You know, the thing with the Hitler's model too, and like Oswald Mosley, you know, he was had a variation on that, was basically when you're a fascist system and follow the economics that go along with that, that you're self-sustaining, you know, like everything that you need is within your country anyway. Exactly. And you make your country thrive, so you don't have to get anything for North Korea or anywhere else.
Right, right. And you wouldn't export all of your manufacturing to the third world like we have done in order for profit, right? All the corporations did that because we don't have national capitalism. We have Marxist. We have the opposite, right? We have this Marxist crony capitalism.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Hitler built all his own roads because he never had any oil. He built them in concrete, didn't he?
Yep.
He used the concrete. Even the clothing. It was said that Germany first started the kind of polyester style clothing and wool. They done it off their own back. They started all that kind of stuff also.
Yeah, because they used the materials that they had
at the time. Yes, used everything out the country they had at the time.
Exactly.
What a horrible guy. Oh.
And what they were trying to do, too, is with their with their fascist model, is you know, all the other European countries would be autonomous, but they would have a European Union, basically, you know, of all the countries where they help the other tribes, you know, so they do the trading with the other countries, but everyone has autonomous countries. So basically, like, you have your 12 tribes, but you trade with your brothers and sisters in the other tribes, you know. And then so it would be Europe first, and then make Europe prosper and thrive, you know, with their European Union, and then they could go outside of that and help other countries once, but they take care of their family first, basically. So the country is their foremost family, and then the other European countries would be the extended family, you know, and they take care of them first and then go out after that.
I'm just reading what Eden wrote here. He said, what was Hitler's policies? He suspended the gold standard, embarked on a huge public works program like the Autobahn, protected industry from foreign competition, expanded credit, instituted job programs, bullied the private sector on price and production, and vastly expanded the military, enforced capital controls, instituted family planning, penalized smoking, brought about national health care and unemployment insurance, and imposed education standards. Once again, horrible guy, you know. Ugh.
Yeah, but see, like he's saying, he suspended the gold standard because he knew.
Right.
Yeah, he had to do that to do all the public works, because it would have helped. He wouldn't be able to do it without that.
But he also knew who carried the gold.
And he based it on the
and
he based it on the production. Yeah.
Right, and during the war, he also he went to all the, like France, for example. All these countries were scrambling to get their gold out of Europe, and many shipped it to Canada, and figured after the war, if they won, they'll get their gold back. And that's also because in order to finance the war, gold also helps as well, because you can use it just as you could use, you know, Reichmarks or whatever. And you could use that for international trade. So I mean, Hitler did raid a lot of banks.
Which president was it that made everyone, the U.S. citizens, have to give up their gold?
It was 1920, not 1929 or 1933 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, and who was it?
It wasn't Woodrow Wilson, wasn't it? No.
It might be Wilson.
Was it Wilson, or was that a bit earlier?
I think so.
Yeah. So, and he made everyone have to give up their gold.
And their gold in. That's right.
Yeah, or be whatever, imprisoned or.
Yeah.
Was it after the Great Depression of 29?
Yeah. Was it Woodrow Wilson?
It might have been somebody different then, because Woodrow Wilson was earlier. Wasn't it?
That's what Gaddafi did. You know, he got all that gold, and he called up Goldman Sachs and said, "I need my gold back," and that didn't go too well for him. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see. I'm going to see if I can find it.
Maybe somebody in the chat with that. Going back on Hitler, when you're talking about the war, when they looked at his expenditure when he came in from 1933 to 1939, he never started to spend money on the war until late, like 37, 38, 39. He didn't come in to make war, as I say. All the money was getting spent on his country.
Right.
Yeah. The whole expenditure was on his country and making the country great, not to make lots of tanks and planes that are to go to war. That wasn't what it was about. I think I might have something on that if I look at it.
Well, it's kind of funny because all the boomers got taught that Hitler was some madman that wanted to just rule the whole world. And then all the German public were like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Hey, so the 1933 thing, it says it's Roosevelt.
Roosevelt, was it?
Yeah, and then someone's saying it was according to a hoax. Roosevelt ordered all the safe deposit boxes in the country seized and searched for gold by an official of the Internal Revenue Service.
So it's a hoax, is it? Or was it?
No, I don't think it's.
No, I don't think
it actually happened. Honestly, I'm just reading. That's what someone has here when I'm going through it.
Yeah,
because Roosevelt is Rosenfeld. He was a Jew.
Jewish, wasn't he?
Everybody's a Jew, but they are. It's true.
The best recent example of that is John Kerry, because it's publicly known that he changed his name from like John Cohen.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah, because the Cohens are like the royalty in the Jewish community. They're the priest class, right?
Yeah, he changed his name so he would appear to be Irish, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, Kerry would be.
Because Kerry's Irish, but yes, that's why I'm one of you guys.
Yeah, right.
Unreal.
Not.
I remember when I first read that, and I was like, "Oh, that's just probably propaganda." And then I looked it up myself, and it's true.
And it's true.
He's just creepy looking too.
Yeah.
There's another thing here I'm reading about. So under Hitler, the first vacation cruise ships were built for the German workers. These big cruise ships, what does it say here? They were barred from British harbours, basically to prevent the British workers from seeing what was available to German workers under Hitler's National Socialism.
Yeah, they can't have that, right?
Like, can't have that. The normal workers going on cruises.
Yeah. And then I forgot the name of it now. We posted in our little group the ship that the Russians torpedoed that was full of Germans trying to escape during the war, just mainly women and children.
What, Lusitania or?
No.
What was it called?
It's an obscure name. It's not like a famous name like that. But but the point of the someone wrote about it saying that the Titanic. You always hear about the Titanic, that it was the worst marine sinking of a vessel in I don't know.
Maritime
water history. Yeah, thank you, maritime history. But it was actually this one that was filled with Germans fleeing from the Russians at the end of World War II.
Right.
They torpedoed. That's the worst disaster ever.
Whoa.
But you never hear of the worst disaster evers when they are done on the Germans. The Germans can never be the victims, right? They're always the evil Nazis. They can never be the victims. That's why we don't hear about Dresden, or the sinking of this cruise liner that was saving Germans,
Mm-hmm.
So Aaron Perry says, how on earth do we buy the lie about the Germans when as much as 40% of white Americans were Germans? Exactly. It's just amazing. How they can do that to us, brainwash us.
It's unbelievable, actually, isn't it? That we can fight each other. White Christians fighting white Christians.
Yeah.
Over the last 100 years or so.
And there's a Bible verse about that. Do you guys know which one it is? About Judah fighting Ephraim?
Oh.
There was someone brought it up in our chat. It was really good. It shows how, it's even biblical, saying that we're going to fight each other. It's even mentioned in there.
I'll try and find it.
I have one scripture that's been sticking in my head for the past 2 weeks. I think it's the book of Timothy, and Jesus is talking to his disciples, and he says, I gave this out of the blue, he says, Satan desires you. He wants to sift you like flour. To not just disciples, but all of us as his children. And I don't know, that's just very profound to me, that he wants to sift us like flour. That's heavy, That's the hatred and just the disdain that he has for us, and I guess that his children have for us as well. And I'm trying to, I wrote that down and reminding myself every day that this is what you're up against. A lot of hatred out there. So
yeah.
Definitely. Well, and you have all these false shepherds that scatter the flock too, right?
Yeah.
Teaching them lies and Christian identity is the only really, if you want to even call it a sect, but it's really the only true interpretation of Christianity, because it's holistic with both the Old and the New Testament. And it says that, everything in the Old Testament is true and everything in the New Testament is true, and it's all congenial. Whereas, a lot of you bring up some of the Old Testament stuff to, most Protestants, and they'll say, oh, well, we're not under any of that. We're under, this new system that discards all that, but that part's not true, of course.
So the verse I can find here is Isaiah 11:13. Was it? Just says, Ephraim's jealousy will vanish, and Judah's enemies will be destroyed. Ephraim will not be jealous of Judah, nor Judah hostile towards Ephraim. It will probably be before. You're looking for one before that, aren't you?
Oh, but that one's pretty good too, though, because that does say how it's going to be.
It's going to be. It's not going to. In the end, the jealousy.
Yeah. We all do come together.
Yeah. Oh, and Rosette Eden just posted this on ocean liner from Germany. It was the Bethel, the Wilhelm Gustav, if I'm saying that correct.
That's it. Yep.
And the ocean liner that was taken down by a Soviet sub on January 30th in 1945 killed 9,343 people. Most of them were refugees from Germany, I guess. 5,000 of them were children. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
9,000.
And you notice that none of the Soviets went up for war crimes, right?
No, you're right.
None of the English that bombed Dresden, that actually bombed women, children, homes, hospitals. None of that. Brought them up on war crimes. Just Nazis. Just evil Nazis.
Yeah,
right?
and I think about that in that documentary Hellstorm, when the women who were raped said you could smell the Soviet soldiers coming. They just reeked of horse manure and the most horrible smell you could imagine.
Yeah,
and not one of them, stood trial for those crimes. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it just shows the inverted world, that we're in. And people don't understand, the silly Antifa people.
Yeah.
They don't understand, that they're going to be slaves too.
I tell people about the Hitler thing, and they come off the rails, and I asked them, what did he do to you? What did he do to us? Name one bad thing. He did that. No. What did he do to us? Nothing. And we're watching the documentary, the greatest story never told, and they had that scene where the German women are out in that stadium, and they had the little flags that they're all dressed in their little white dresses, and it was so pure, and and I just think, how did this happen? It's just, just makes you think how horrible this whole thing was, and then to think about who perpetrated the whole thing, and it just keeps me going. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah,
that's why I'm not going to let up. Exposing it, you know, and going after these people for what they've done, I won't stop. So
me neither. It makes me feel sad. I want to cry.
Yeah, I cry and I'm angry at the same time, and you know, my eyes tear up. I can't even watch some of those scenes from the documentary. And I told my wife, this is what fuels me. I'm not going to stop. So,
yeah, I can't watch that without crying.
Yeah,
I can.
And I'll tell you another one here. There's a guy on YouTube who has a video. He shows it was after, before, and now. These places in Germany where Hitler's summer retreat was. I forget the name of this one retreat he had, but beautiful. But he shows it then and he shows it now. And he's got this beautiful classical music with it. And you can't watch it without crying as well. And you just looked at how happy these people were, you know, because Germany was prospering and everyone was just happy. And, you know, here we come and just bomb the, what out of them. It's just, it's tragic, horrible. So.
Yes, Germany was blooming and the UK and America were in depression.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And Hitler wanted all the Adamite tribes. You know, he wanted all the Europeans to thrive. He didn't want to control them and take them over. He wanted them to thrive like Germany was thriving. That's all he wanted.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but I remember he let all those French and British escape during at Dunkirk, and I remember it's written that he said, I mean, we're gonna let them go because we're not in the business of killing Aryans, so he recognized that he wasn't going to do that because he understood that if he does that, he's really not doing the right thing. He was very moral in how he conducted war to the largest extent that he could. It's still a war, right? And you still have to take the offensive when you can and defensive when you can, but things like that, they don't tell you about that. They don't tell you that he could have sent in the Panzers and the Luftwaffe and completely decimated them and no one would have survived that. But he chose to not have that happen. He saw them retreating. He wanted the war to end. He was a very anti-war guy, and he got kind of forced into it because Britain decided to guarantee Poland in a ruse, really, in order to start the war, because they knew that was going to happen. And they also were suspecting that Hitler was going to take action against Poland for all the atrocities that they were doing. The Polish government was doing in Western Poland, where there were many German speakers who were being massacred, being killed. And he said, no, I'm going to, he wants a greater Germany. He wants all the German-speaking people to be united, and especially for them to have representation in a government and not be dispossessed like how we're being dispossessed today. It was the same thing. And so if that means invading Poland, then he's going to invade Poland. And you didn't see, and even after it was all said and done, you didn't see Britain go to war at the USSR. They forget that the USSR completely invaded Poland too at the exact same time that Hitler was going to do it.
Yeah.
Why didn't the Brits, hey, we're guaranteeing Poland, no. We
gotta go after you Soviets too.
Yep. And he doesn't do it. And I think Churchill at the end of the war kind of realized a lot of his mistakes, because he realized that, well, now the Soviets are going to have a stranglehold on Europe. And even then, he didn't know how bad it was going to be, because, he didn't know that eventually we'd have things like cultural Marxism too happen, where it got even worse. Now the whole Western world is going to fall apart and unravel because they're going to infect society to such an extent that you won't be able to recover culturally from it, because there's not a lot of cultural defense against cultural Marxism, because the communists knew they couldn't convince wealthy Westerners that you need to go after the the top 20% of earners, and you have to take all of their stuff, and you have to nationalize everything. They weren't convinced by that, so they decided, well, we're going to have to do it by other means, and that's where cultural Marxism comes in. And so they have to, that's kind of where the identity politics with minorities kind of started. And the whole point of that is to destabilize the West, because the West would have a bunch of disenfranchised minorities, so it makes sense to rile them up to kind of shake the system as best as they can. And then, you know, our liberal elites thought that they had pretty good arguments, so they went along with it in the name of equality, and they didn't really see that it would end up where we are today, where, you know, their ancestors are all dispossessed from the land then. So, you know, they were kind of ignorant of a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, you'll see Churchill make some comments about how, you know, that the war really wasn't a good deal at all, especially for Europe. I mean, Europe just completely lost pretty much everything in that war, really. And especially when it comes to things like destiny, completely lost destiny, I would say. At least for now, until, you know, it's not completely true, because you have countries like Hungary and Poland's not as bad, and Czechoslovakia and Slovenia. So you have some countries that are not doing too bad. So
yeah, but all that I think is a ruse. If you watch that that one interview with what's his name, Christopher Story, who wrote about the Soviet defector, you know, he was saying that that was all planned. You know, that they broke up the USSR and made it look like those countries are now free, gave him like an appearance of democracy, but they're still really controlled. You know, that all the same people are in power, you know, and pulling the strings for all those countries. You know,
right.
You know, I think about if the controllers have been able to pull this whole thing with Hitler and the whole story behind World War II over everyone's eyes, and they've been able to convince the world we live on a ball and everything else, what else had they lied to us about? You know, especially with our history and where we really came from. I wonder, you know, you know, how much other stuff that they fed us that we don't even realize that we've been lied to about. So.
Yeah, I mean, like Sean discovered the oiling of America. So
right, yeah,
that's a good one. You know.
Yes, just watched it. Yes,
with food.
Thank you.
I just think one of my friends just took a heart attack. I was telling us that a couple of weeks ago. Then he was 51 years old, very fit, out swimming, wild swimming out to the islands where I live in the loch there. And then I just found out today another 49-year-old guy who's very fit, cycles, goes to the gym, all having heart attacks.
Wow.
And I believe it's because of this oil that's in our food.
Yeah.
And since I've been looking into it, I've been going around the supermarkets and checking out all our food and looking at all the packaging, and all your food and all your packaging contains these oils: rapeseed oil, sunflower oil, and all these oils are dangerous for us.
Yeah, and you know something else, Sean, I had a discussion with someone just yesterday on the pharmaceutical industry and how everyone is doped up on all these anti-anxiety medications, and it's just rampant. And I told them, you don't have to take the medications. Just go to the grocery store. It's in all the food. So
yeah.
America's being drugged by their grocery stores, you know, and all the food processing or all the basic food stuff comes from, I guess, two major suppliers in the U.S. Just like all the restaurants, it doesn't matter if it's an Olive Garden or a Outback Steakhouse, whatever it is, they're all getting their food from one supplier, and they're all coming from a handful of companies that are just medicating the crap out of everybody. So that's why we can't. I think that's why we can't wake anybody up. I think they're just so, medicated and everything, So
the food thing's terrible. What they're doing to us.
It is, yeah.
Anybody who's listening to us really needs to watch that, The Oiling of America. Then from there, do a bit of research.
Just watched it. Excellent. Yes.
Yeah, and that's why fast food is so bad, is because they cook everything in those oils, because if you eat a burger and it's actually like cooked in tallow, cooked in the actual meat, that's totally healthy and good for you. And even the French fries, they used to be cooked in tallow, so they were fine. You could eat a burger and fries and you're totally fine. But no more. That's the bad part, and that's what's making everybody fat too, is those oils. That's why fast food makes people fat, because of the oil, 100%.
And that video they're showing, they take the cheese off a Big Mac and they put the cheese on an open flame and they can't melt it.
Yeah.
And you're
that's
eating
pretty
that stuff.
scary.
Yeah. So the two main guys who actually promoted these oils and demonized saturated fats, one of them was called Ansel Keys, and the other main player was a guy called Jeremiah Stamler. Guess what race he was from? Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Check out Jeremiah Stamler and what he was behind.
What was he behind?
Yeah, just promoting the monosaturated and the polyunsaturated oils, and telling us that the saturated fats was rust, it was corrosion, and were arteries, and and the whole medical field fell for it all. The whole field, fell for it, and they had so much power, these guys.
Well, like they say too, like when you do your dishes and stuff like that, like you never want to put the fats down the drain, because it'll clog the drain, right?
Yes.
So they say, like, that's the same thing that happens to your arteries. You don't want to put the saturated fat in your body, or it'll clog up all your arteries, just like your drain gets clogged. I remember hearing that and thinking, oh yeah, wow, that's right. It's so bad. Look what it does to the sink drain.
If it was true at that extent, everyone would be dead at age 10.
Exactly.
Lifespans would be a hell of a lot shorter.
Yeah. And
I think it's cholesterol. It's a type of cholesterol that builds up that can lead to cardiovascular problems.
That's a myth also. The cholesterol, we all have cholesterol in our brain and all our cells. We've all got high cholesterol heart attack. That's been proved. That's a myth. Nonsense.
The brain's 80% cholesterol.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they try to put everybody on cholesterol medication, healthy people.
Yeah.
And they put it on it, and then they
man, a lot of that medication will just kill you.
Yeah, and what they don't tell you about cholesterol, that's where testosterone comes from. Cholesterol drops one atom and then converts to testosterone. So if you take a drug that prohibits cholesterol, you basically just cut all the testosterone production off. So if you're a man, certain body parts aren't going to work anymore when you take your cholesterol
when men
medication.
lose testosterone, it is very bad, because you will be depressed and you will be low energy, kind of like Jeb Bush. It'll be really bad. Yeah, no, it's
Jeb Bush, that's good.
It's really bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you look at the goblin that he married, it kind of makes sense. I think he had no testosterone.
See,
that's why he picked it.
I don't know. That's crazy, that setup, him and the goblin.
But you take the cholesterol medicine, then you're going to need the little blue pill because something's not going to work, and then you're going to be depressed. So now you're going to need an antidepressant on top of it. So.
And now you have schizophrenia.
So I was going to say, so whilst we're still on that topic, so I looked into it a bit further, because they've over the last 100 years, they've put us on the carbohydrate diet, which was never a diet when you look back centuries. So which gives us diabetes. I was speaking to Rosette about this. So when you look at the word diabetes, you've got and then you've got bete, B-E-T-E. So when you look up the meaning of bete, it means a beast or an animal. That's the noun. And if you look at the adjective, it means an inept, stupid person. So when you look at it, so they've actually changed our diet, and then they're mocking us by calling us "Die, you stupid beast."
Yeah.
And as Rosette, I was talking to Rosette about that, and Rosette looked at the word diabetes, and it's an actual anagram of die beast.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect anagram.
It's perfect anagram. So they've made us, they've changed their whole diet, and they're mocking us and telling us to die, you beast, and get this.
Yeah,
it's all there for you to see.
Yeah, and they're making it such an inverted world because you get all these people convinced that, you got to eat a high carb, you got to be a vegan, right? And then we're evil because we're eating the diet, that we're supposed to eat, that Yahweh, told us to eat, but somehow we're evil, so everything making, if you follow the Bible and the dietary laws, you're evil. Christians are evil, and here's the proof,
Right.
You just said the word beast, and that makes me think of the word monster. And, I'm in Daytona, so the race is going on right now out there, the Monster Energy 400. And it's the monster thing is plastered all over town right now with the 3 claw marks. And if you look up the word monster in the Black's Law Dictionary, I think it says one that resembles a human but has no rights to marriage or property. If you look up the word human, and it goes back and forth, and it's just, really, guys.
That's what Lady Gaga, that's what she calls her fans, her little monsters.
Yeah. And so when you need a job, you go to monster.com, because you're a little monster. Go to work, you slave.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they mock us constantly.
They mock us. Yeah.
On and on and on.
Yep. He wants to sift us like flour. You're just doing a good job of it,
Yeah.
We're getting there now. We just keep turning stones over and poking around every few weeks and finding more and more and more. Joining those dots.
Yep.
Slowly but surely.
I know, it's endless. It's funny, It's we could always find new material, new stuff we dig up,
Yeah.
So I've been working on our music industry one.
Oh, right. How's it going?
How's it going? Yeah.
I mean, pretty good. So so I don't have so much of the symbolism as more like the background of the people,
Right. Okay.
Like their how they became what they are and what they use in their music and stuff like that. I have a little bit of the wordplay stuff, but it's stuff that
well, I'll look at the symbolism and the wordplay stuff then. I've got some notes here.
Okay, yeah, if you got the symbolism side. I mean, I have some of it, but not really. I have a hard time, with once we woke up is listening, watching music videos and listening to that crap.
Me too.
Because it's so bad. It's like a movie is easier for me to watch when I know it's a bullshit movie, propaganda movie like the Midsummer one I just watched, but when you actually have to listen to the music and the beat and everything, and it's like, oh, I just can't do it. It's like so hard. It's like another level that I just can't handle it.
Yeah, that's what they're doing too, because not only are they trying to mix us up, like they mix all our cultures with music together also, don't they? They're making like white music and black music together and mixing it all up, and it's just turning into a rabble now, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, because they'll have like a rock person with a rap person, and then they make a song together,
Oh, it sounds so bad too.
And country music is now getting it. The kind of or you've got Irish folk music with just heavy rock and rap in it now, and they're just mixing everything.
And those songs are spells. A lot of them. They call it the hook, right? It'll have a catchy hook. So certain songs you'll listen to, and even if you can't stand the song, it'll get stuck in your head. There'll be a hook. And you'll just hear it over and over in your head for days sometimes. You can't get it out of your head. So that's another reason I don't like to listen to them, because they could get stuck in your head, and it is a spell,
Yeah, what was the one we spoke about the other day, Rosette? In Glastonbury, they promoted the 3 top people at Glastonbury, and they were all transgenders.
Yeah.
So one of them was called, the band, was it Christine and the Queens? It was mockery of Christ and the King.
Yeah.
So and she was, you could see straight away it was a man. And what was the song she was singing? We looked at the lyrics. It's, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, all the way through the song.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, what about Volbeat?
What about who?
I was asking Sean, what about Volbeat?
What's that?
They're a Scottish group, Volbeat, Volbeat. Don't know them?
Did you say V or B? B is a boy or V is in Victor?
V is in victory. Volbeat, I think.
V.
Never heard of them.
Oh, okay.
VOL, and then how's it spelled?
I think it's BEAT. Volbeat.
Volbeat. Huh.
Yeah, they're big in Europe right now.
Oh, maybe look that one up, Sean. See what you can find.
Really, really big.
Because we're gonna do a music industry one next weekend, so maybe we can look at that one too. So
we can look at things like Eurovision, Glastonbury, things like that. Yeah, and Madonna at the Eurovision. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, got a few things like that. Yeah.
Full of crap.
And anybody else that wants to come on, find stuff. What are you going to come on, Todd?
Okay.
Yeah.
If you've got some stuff.
Yeah, Jackman, you're welcome to come on too. Eden, if you get your mic fixed, come on.
On to where?
Next weekend we're going to do like we're doing right now. We're going to do a chat on the music industry.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Sean, the group is Volbeat, Volbeat, and they're a Scottish group, I guess. They're extremely big in Europe right now. The reason why I asked, a Danish rock band, I'm sorry, from Copenhagen. That's who they are. Okay.
Volbeat.
Yeah.
They like to get the V in, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, see it.
Yeah, one of my closest friends, I love the guy. His name's Pete Kohler. He's the lead guitarist for a real hardcore rock group called Sick of It All. And he's on tour with them right now over there. So
with Volbeat?
Yep.
Oh, and they're a good band?
I don't know. I don't listen to it. I don't listen to it. It's too much for me. You know, it's real hard speed rock, I guess they call it. But,
you know what band I do like? I really like is Mr. Bond.
Mr. Bond?
Mr. Bond.
Right? Oh, Mr. Bond. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, he does the Alles Genommen song and some other ones.
Yes.
And it's all about waking people up.
Yes.
Weren't you saying, Jackman, he's actually in the U.S. or something?
Oh yeah,
I thought
he's a U.S. guy. He might have. He knows German. I don't know too much of his backstory. I actually found him on, I think YouTube and maybe 4 and 8chan. He's posted there sometimes.
But does he actually make music videos? No.
Not music videos.
So
not
he's
yet.
Just an
maybe if he
underground...
can. Yeah, he's kind of underground right now, but maybe one of these record labels will pick up his stuff.
Yeah, right. That would be nice. But man, I love his music.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I cry. It makes me cry. He's really good.
Yeah, he's got really good stuff.
Yeah.
There's probably a good 10 or 20. There was another one. I think his Baron von Ron. I can't remember, but Baron something. He was another U.S. guy. He took down most of his stuff because he got showed, unfortunately. Or doxed, I should say. So, and he had he worked in the government, so he had to get rid of a lot of his stuff. But
oh wow.
But yeah, I remember him.
So some Jew didn't like what he did and told on him. Like,
yeah,
figured out. Yeah, see, that sucks. God, did they do that shit? Yeah, I had his one of his songs on my channel, and they removed it. The Mr. Bond. You know, I don't know.
No, never heard of him.
Oh, the Mr. Bond one?
No, I've never heard of him.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. I'll link you, Sean.
Yeah, link me that one.
It's really good.
Do you know that band? Is it Coldplay?
With Chris Martin.
Yeah, do you know that song? Viva La Vida.
Can you sing it?
The one that goes, I used to rule the world.
Oh, okay.
I was just listening to that the other day, and I pulled the lyrics up. I think that's just like mockery of the Christians, how the Christians were the main people, and then they let the Jews in. If you look at the lyrics to that.
Oh wow!
I used to rule the world. Seas would rise when I gave the word. Now in the morning I sleep alone, and I sweep the streets that I used to own.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Totally.
So you look at it, and then comes down. It was a wicked and wild wind blew down the doors to let me in. I think that's talking maybe about the Jews. Shattered windows and the sound of drums. People couldn't believe what I'd become. Revolutionaries wait for my head on a silver plate. I hear, yeah. Just look at the lyrics of that and see what you think. Rosette, when you get time, that's what I think it's about, that song.
Yeah. And it's
thinking
cold,
about getting rid of Christianity.
And he's cold play. So cold would be the moon. Right? The hot is the sun, cold is the moon is Lucifer.
Yeah.
So cold play.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So I was just looking at those lyrics. I heard it that's what I do now when if I'm going to work or in someone's car, I'll just hear a song and then I just go straight on and look at the lyrics.
And he was married to Gwyneth Paltrow, who's a Jew.
Yeah.
So, and they had their kids are Moses and Apple. So, Apple for, the apple in the garden, right? So Satan and Moses, it's funny because they do that, even though, so probably Moses, because of the, the Jews, supposedly worship the Torah, but they don't, right? Mm-hmm. So, so just that, just like they use the name Adam and, Jacob and whatever, and other biblical names, even though they're not of Jacob, of Adam, of Moses,
Yeah.
And then now she's married to another Jew. I don't remember his name, but if you look her up, I saw something on it where she just like recently got married. So she's with another.
I'll check that out.
Jewish guy.
Yeah, because what was it? I'm going off topic here. Was it? We spoke about a thing I seen in the news the other day. Yes, it was 10 minutes of terror in one of the London terror events. And when you looked through the story, there was 3 people who had Christ in their name who get killed, and then Moses saved Bond Devil, Good Devil. Remember that? Remember we were speaking about that?
Yeah. It's so funny.
They're all the same, these stories.
Yep. Christ comes up in everything.
Christ come up in the devil.
Like in the movie Midsummer, and what they do to the Christian, the main guy in there, Christian. Yeah. Same thing. Hey, but guys, I'm gonna have to get going.
Okay.
So, is that all right?
Yeah. Is everybody else away? Is it everybody else?
Did everyone leave us, Sean? Todd?
No, Jackman, Todd and
Eden
are muted.
Still here.
Todd's here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, still here.
Jackman's still here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah, we just had a big rain. We just had a big rainstorm came in down here, so I had to take care of something for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they stopped the race. I just see, so they couldn't run it last night because of the rain last night here, and so it's a pretty big event that takes place. So
right on. Hey, but I gotta go.
Okay then. So what time next week then for the music stuff?
So I was thinking we do it. We're gonna do it at I think it's 7 p.m. your time. Will that work for you?
Yeah. Is that Saturday or Sunday? What
I think we were planning on Saturday, but
that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, I just have it Saturday at 8 a.m. my time, so 7 p.m. yours.
Okay.
And then I know Truthvids is going to join us. And Todd, Jackman, Eden, you guys are more than welcome if you guys want to join us.
Yeah, maybe I'll contribute.
Yeah,
will that time work for you guys too?
Yes, that's fine. Absolutely
fine.
Pretty much like right now, like this, right around the same time as right now. So,
okay,
Saturday. All right.
That would be great.
Do that. And so thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much.
In the chat, we do appreciate you guys very much, and just want to stay connected to you guys. So
definitely,
thanks for hanging out with us. Yeah, Yahweh bless you guys too.
Okay, thanks care, everybody.
Coming, Flat Earth Norway, Jeff, everyone in their Cash Coin Media, all you guys. All right. Well, hopefully this one doesn't get showed, but this live chat will probably get showed like the last one. But at least we all got to talk. So, all right. Take care, everybody.
Take care.
Yeah.
Talk to you later. Okay, bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.